The height of the Great Iron Mike, from the beginning, was a reason to underestimate him. It prevented him from joining his country's Olympic team and fulfilling his greatest dream of winning a medal, but he worked on it until it became one of his greatest strengths. Throughout his journey, Mike Tyson had to face opponents of imposing stature but little skill in the ring. However, none were as arrogant as James Smith. Watch us until the end to witness a legitimate proof that size doesn't always matter. It had been 104 long days since his last fight when Mike Tyson decided to step into the ring against the giant James Smith in 1987. The entire boxing fan base eagerly awaited the next brawl in which Tyson would be the protagonist, but Smith seemed determined to deliver a surprise result, not only surviving against an opponent of Iron Mike's caliber, but also defeating him in a game he had become an expert in a short time. As part of his show, Smith made a couple of controversial statements before entering the ring. For him, defeating Tyson would be an everyday thing, and he was confident that his enormous body would be enough to overpower Mike, whom he promised to make smaller in the ring. But if there's one thing we know about the great Mike Tyson, it's that his measurements were never an obstacle for him. He had defeated large opponents before, and James Smith was just another hurdle on his path to glory. That night, Tyson entered the ring undefeated with a record of 28 wins, with 26 of them by knockout. For everyone, he was the one to beat. Anyone who could tarnish his flawless record would go down in history, and Smith was ready to face the beast to achieve it. James, the arrogant giant, didn't have as clean a record as Tyson. With 19 wins, only 14 of them by knockout, he had already been defeated 5 times before. For anyone who believed in statistics, Smith was about to become a snack for a hungry Tyson. The only thing Smith could rely on was the slim possibility that Tyson's youth might make him commit a rookie mistake. 13 years older at 33, he was about to enter the dangerous territory of a 20-year-old whose fists had been the downfall of some who came before him. The bell rang to start the fight, and Tyson emerged from his corner with the aggression that characterized him. The difference in size was evident, but the Great Iron Mike didn't hesitate for a second to face the giant Smith.
Right hand by Smith. Nowhere near it.
The first round passed, and the fight didn't turn into the battle everyone expected. But when the bell rang to end the round and Tyson returned to his corner, a provocation from Smith led Tyson to react by giving him a light punch in the face. It was a counterproductive event that affected Tyson's image but excited the audience. Smith had let his arrogant attitude provoke the wrong warrior, and he was about to pay for it. Tyson's aggression in the second round was colossal, and Smith had no choice but to rely on all the defensive techniques he knew while waiting for the opportunity to counterattack.
Smith for holding Mike Tyson. Smith got in a good...
The bell rang to end the second round, and once again, the boxers engaged in a skirmish beyond the time limits. While both remained on guard, it was now Smith who brought his fist closer to Tyson's face. Unknowingly, he was playing with fire, and the Great Iron Mike was known for igniting the ring many times in the past.
What has got it?
During the third round, the giant Smith tried to hurt Tyson with different combinations of punches, most of which Mike managed to evade. It seemed that the match was beginning to stabilize, and the chances of an early knockout were becoming less likely. By the fourth round, the provocations of the arrogant Smith were starting to take a toll on him, and Tyson was actively attacking his body to weaken him before going for his head. Consequently, James appeared increasingly exhausted.
Pressure may be trying to take a little bit of a blow here in this round. There's no way to train to fight.
In the fifth round, Tyson began to position himself above his rival. He wasn't just aiming his jabs and uppercuts at Smith's body, he also threw hooks, as if trying his luck, to start accumulating points on the judges' scorecards, even if he couldn't knock him out. Surprisingly, in the sixth round, Smith continued to taunt Tyson. He opened his arms, inviting Tyson to attack him. He strutted around as if he were winning the fight, although everyone in the audience was watching a different bout. At times, you could see the arrogant giant walking in circles around the ring, both arms down, as if facing Tyson were no big deal. An attitude that worked for the show. After the bell rang to end the round, the referee once again had to intervene and separate the boxers. The patience of the Great Iron Mike was running out, and he started the 7th round with a powerful left hook that made the arrogant giant recoil and wobble. Tyson was showing that he wasn't an opponent you entered the ring with for a circus show. However, losing patience in a sport where every move should be calculated puts you at a disadvantage. With almost 30 seconds left in the round, Tyson rushed to throw a right hook that missed, causing him to lose his balance and fall to the canvas.
There was a body shot. That was not a punch. That was not a punch.
The audience was astonished. No one could believe it. But it wasn't time to lament. Mike got up as quickly as he could, and the fight resumed. Tyson, now more aware of his body, went through the 8th and 9th rounds faithful to his strategy of weakening Smith's body. Eventually, you could see him landing a hook to Smith's head, although they weren't actively sought attacks. The 10th round was the beginning of the end, and without achieving a knockout, it was time for both boxers to focus on the judges' scorecards. The Great Iron Mike dominated the 11th round like a predator clinging to his prey. He knew that Smith's arrogant attitude was all he had going for him and that he wasn't an opponent with the strength or technique to make use of his physical capabilities to defeat a smaller boxer in size, but with an unbreakable spirit. Tyson became much more strategic, demonstrating why his record remained undefeated, attacking Smith at the right moments to accumulate points on the scorecards that would determine the winner of the contest. The 12th round was the last opportunity for the arrogant giant to prove that he was on par with Tyson. Returning the favor, Mike took the opportunity to lower his guard, lean his torso forward, and stick his tongue out at a James Smith who wasn't quick enough to respond with an attack to the mockery he had received.
As good as Lewis. Speaking of theater.
The audience went wild, but the message Tyson sent after that taunt was clear: who's the fool now? James Smith tried to taunt Mike as well, but it wasn't funny anymore. He had shown that his terrible attitude was the only thing he could offer in the ring if his opponent was a boxer like the Great Iron Mike. The bell rang to end the bout, and both boxers returned to their corners, unable to do more than await the verdict of the judges. Tyson had secured a couple of rounds in his favor, but Smith had demonstrated great endurance, finishing on his feet after 12 rounds against the young legend. The three judges agreed on their perspective of the fight they had witnessed, one where Tyson stood victorious against an arrogant giant who lacked the strength or technique to make use of his physical abilities and defeat a smaller opponent in size, but with an unbreakable spirit. So, Tyson added another victory to his record, and James Smith could only boast of being one of the few men who had withstood 12 rounds in the ring against the Great Iron Mike. If you liked the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more content about your favorite boxers. Now that you know the story, do you really believe that Mike Tyson was the clear winner of this contest? We're eager to read your comments.